I woke up choking at 3:17 a.m., clawing at my own throat like someone had poured concrete down my lungs. The words came out raw, shaking in the dark. I just murdered my father, and he's still breathing. My name is Elias, 39. By day, I'm the man who keeps people hovering between life and death in the precise, calm, untouchable. But that night, I finally killed the version of me that had been dying for years. On paper, I had escaped. Small-town Rust Belt kid who clawed his way through med school on black coffee and stubborn rage while the rest of my family stayed behind, trading blame and lottery tickets. Now I had the house with the quiet backyard, the wife who worked trauma nights, and two little girls who still thought their dad could fix anything. My wife, Lena, saw the cracks before I did. She'd come home smelling of antiseptic and exhaustion, eyes searching mine like she was reading an x-ray. You're disappearing, Elias, piece by piece. And they're the ones holding the scalpel. My father, Marcus, ruled with a voice like grinding metal and hands scarred from decades on the factory floor. My mother moved through life like a ghost, smoothing every sharp corner with tired smiles and whispered excuses. My younger brother, Theo, and his wife were always one sure thing away from striking gold, always one emergency away from my wallet. I was the success story, the one who got out, and that single truth turned me into the family blood bank. It started with small asks, a signature here, a short-term loan there. But every time Marcus looked at me, there was this quiet hunger in his eyes, like he already owned the next pound of flesh I hadn't handed over yet. Then came a truck. I was staggering to my car after a 30-hour call, scrubbed stiff with dried sweat, when my phone lit up. Marcus's voice rolled through like warm thunder. Son, I found the perfect machine. Lifted diesel, chrome that blinds you. Bank's giving me trouble over some old mess. Just need your name on it. You won't feel a thing. I'll handle every payment. That night Lena stood in our kitchen, arms crossed, voice low and steady. Keep feeding them pieces of yourself, and one day there'll be nothing left for the girls or for me. The guilt was heavier than any patient I'd ever put under. I signed. 18 months later, I had quietly bled out $70,000 into a truck I had never seen, never sat in, never even smelled the leather of. Every time I pushed back, the excuses flowed like oil, paperwork delays, family takes care of family. You make that in one good shift anyway. I canceled our mountain trip. Watched my daughters wear thin jackets while interest piled up like silent snow. Then came the holidays. Marcus called between cases, voice buzzing with fake joy. We're doing Christmas properly this year. Big house, whole family. Inflation's brutal, but you're the doctor. You can carry us. That's what blood does, right? Lena warned me again in the dark. One day you'll set yourself on fire just to keep them warm, and they'll still complain the smoke stings their eyes. I tried to draw a line. They drove straight through it with luxury catering, last-minute flights, expensive toys for Theo's kids. My own daughter got a plastic doll and a pair of Marcus's old steel-toed boots that reeked of grease and old resentment. She held them up, nose wrinkled, and whispered, "Daddy, they smell like angry." I smiled through the whole night while Marcus bragged about the real Christmas he gave the family. Something inside me finally went cold and quiet. Every yes I'd ever given felt like another blade sliding between my ribs. I couldn't breathe anymore. I was teaching my little girls that love means letting people drain you dry, that your worth is measured by how much you're willing to bleed for those who only call when they need something. I was done. On January 5th, between two surgeries, my hands wouldn't stop shaking as I opened the banking app and killed the autopay with one tap. 2 weeks later, the storm hit. Missed calls, screaming voicemails, Marcus detonating through the phone. "What the hell have you done?" I answered, voice flat as surgical steel. I stopped paying for a truck I never wanted. Stopped paying for a Christmas my own kids barely got crumbs from. I stopped being your walking wallet. But that wasn't the real knife. Later that night, my mother called, voice cracking with tears. "How could you abandon your own blood?" Theo's kids are asking why Uncle Elias doesn't love them anymore. And in that moment, the truth gutted me completely. They never loved me. They loved the version of me that could be bled. Every gift, Every signature, every yes had only trained them and my own daughters to believe family is just another word for extraction. The late notices are piling up. My credit is about to burn. The truck will probably get repossessed. I don't care. Lena and I are finally guarding the small, fragile world we almost lost. Some nights, I still lie awake, staring at the ceiling, the silence louder than any scream. Blood is supposed to be thicker than water, but is it thicker than self-respect? Thicker than protecting the people who actually need you? If it were you, if your own family only reached for you when they needed to squeeze something out, would you have cut the cord? Would you have finally chosen yourself? Tell me in the comments. Because some mornings I still don't know if I'm the villain in their story or the first one brave enough to stop volunteering as their sacrifice.